varsity wrestling team, and they're here with us today, coming off an extraordinary year, one of the best in East Islip history. Under head coach Mike Longobardi, under his direction and with the assistance of the entire devoted coaching staff, the dedicated wrestlers of East Islip dominated the competition. East Islip claimed victory at the Suffolk County Division I Dual Meet Championship, followed by both the League 5 and Suffolk County Championships. This is the team's second consecutive League 5 title, crowning 8 individual championships and a record of 20 place winners who earned all league. Thanks to the efforts of the entire team, they scored 365 total points, setting a school record for the most points earned in league tournament history. Their exceptional season was punctuated by a strong first place victory in the Division I New York State Championship by junior Sebastian Regis in the 285-pound weight class. To say it was a good year is quite an understatement. So please join me, and I ask the town board to come forward and join me in congratulating the hardworking members of the East Islip varsity wrestling team. Take care. So the coach said they'll be back next year. So we're going to hold you to it. Now, next on deck is the Brentwood High School varsity cheerleading team, but I don't think they've gotten here yet. So we will move on with the program. Up, they're on their way up. This is a great story. It really, really is. While they're coming up, I'm going to start. So the Brentwood High School varsity cheerleading team under head coach Tanisha Pessoa led a very successful season qualifying for the Universal Cheerleaders Association national competition in where else? Orlando for the third year since the competition began in 2016. Like, that's really remarkable. However, with the expense of travel being so high, it was uncertain whether the girls would be able to attend the competition despite the fact that they qualified. Not taking no for an answer, isn't that kind of indicative of what women do? The team persevered, enlisting the help of a very, very devoted community in a GoFundMe campaign to raise the $5,000 necessary to attend the national competition. So it wasn't long before Gregory Napolitano, the owner of Campbell's Bakery, located on Suffolk Avenue in Brentwood, truly a destination in the hamlet of Brentwood, he caught wind of the fundraiser and invited Coach Pessoa to the bakery, where he presented them with a check for $3,000. That is amazing. His generosity helped the girls exceed their goal and ensured that they could travel to the national competition where they put on an amazing routine. What's more, the team would go on to raise over $13,000 thanks to the Brentwood strong spirit of the community. And the excess funds have been put toward the Youth Summer Cheer Camp program for the next class of cheerleaders. So we offer our congratulations to Brentwood High School varsity cheerleading team, and thank you, Mr. Napolitano, Campbell's Bakery, and the entire Brentwood community for their generosity and local support. So let us hear it for the varsity cheerleading team from Brentwood. Come on up. And they certainly wouldn't be the team they are without their coach, and this year without Greg Napolitano. So Greg, please join us also. So we have Brentwood Pride. We certainly have Town of Islip Pride. Thank you so much. And Mr. Greg, thank you so much. And he's not only there for the community of Brentwood. I will tell you that when we did Islip Goes Purple and we wanted purple cupcakes, he came through. So thank you so much. Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, we are celebrating Women's History Month. And our final group of honorees today are mothers, caregivers, business owners, professionals, executives, teachers, and more, those who help to enrich our town throughout the year. The month of March is National Women's History Month, and all of us at the Town of Islip are proud to celebrate women from all walks of life who positively impact our lives every single day. To help us share in this celebration, I'd like to take a moment to highlight a few of the outstanding women from our community who are in our audience today. Connie Hab, just do a wave. Julia Burgos, Nitza Franco, Barbara Fitzpatrick, the Honorable A. Gail Prudenti, along with an organization, the Women of West Islip. So I'll begin by inviting Councilman Lorenzo to the podium to introduce our first honoree today, who was his nominee, Connie Hab. Connie, you want to step forward?
Thanks, Supervisor. Congratulations to all the honorees. Here's Nana. You're all probably wondering why I'm calling her Nana. Some people may know, but everyone calls her Nana. She's Nana to everyone in our district, so she's a wonderful lady. I never really, I always heard about Nana. I never got to really understand in depth of what she's done over the 50 plus years service to her community. I have a few points here. So Constance Connie Hab has dedicated over 7 decades to the service of her community. As a lifelong resident of Bayport, Connie is an active member of the Phantoms Hall of Fame nomination committee, a founding member of the Bayport Blue Point Heritage Association, as well as the Bayport Memorial Park Association, where she works tirelessly to honor local veterans and preserve the history of the hamlet. A lot already. It's going to keep going. For over 50 years, longer than I've been alive. Connie has been a member of the Bayport Fire Department, serving as a deputy secretary and an active member of the Ladies Auxiliary. Connie made history as the first woman elected to serve the Bayport Fire Department as commissioner of the department, a position she has held for the last decade. That's impressive. Along with many of her accomplishments, Connie also has dedicated over 32 years to this town in the Parks, Rec, and Cultural Affairs Department. Please join me in congratulating Nana, Connie Howard.
And she really carries the title of Nana very proudly because Sunday at the Bayport Blue Point St. Patty's Day Parade, as she was sitting on her throne as the Grand Marshal on the stage, sort of maybe 3/4 of the way through the parade, came her great granddaughter. She was up there holding her 2 months old. Thank you, Councilman Lorenzo, and I'd like to ask Councilman Guadrone to the podium to welcome our next honoree, Julia Burgos, who was nominated by Ellen Edelstein, who's head of the Brentwood Historical Society and involved in a number of other organizations. And thank you for that nomination, Ellen. Jorge?
Thank you.
It's right here.
Congratulations again to all the honorees this afternoon. Julia, and I would go with the Spanish pronunciation. Julia Burgos, please come up here. Well, she has dedicated over 28 years to the Brentwood School District as a school social worker, specializing in assisting Spanish speaking and immigrant families within the district. Julia's passion to help others stems from her own experience as a Spanish speaking student facing the language barrier prior to the introduction of bilingual education programs. During her career, she has an active member of the Special Education Parent Teachers Association and the Brentwood Teachers Association Executive Council. In 2015, she retired from the Brentwood School District, but continued to serve the district when she was elected to the Brentwood School Board of Education. Presently, Julia is the first vice president of the Board of Education, where she chairs the Security, Buildings and Grounds and Technology Committee and is the board liaison for the Special Education Parents Teacher Association. Julia, furthermore, serves as the vice president of the Long Island Latino Teachers Association as a mentor with the Suffolk County Youth Council and as a senior adjunct professor for Adelphi University School of Social Work. Please join us in recognizing Julia Burgos.
Thank you so much, Councilman Guadrone, for filling in for Councilman Cochran, who had knee surgery, so he's not able to be with us today, although he tried to get here, but the nurse wouldn't let him. Our third honoree this afternoon is Barbara Fitzpatrick. Barbara, please come forward. Barbara's been and active is like an understatement, member of the Sable community for many, many years. Her dedication to the community has seen her serve as the co-vice president of Having Friends In, the co-president of the Sable Junior Senior High School PTA, a member of the Women's College Club, as well as a puppy walker for the Guide Dog Foundation. Currently, Barbara is active within the Sayville Civic Association, the Chamber of Commerce, the Common Ground at Rotary Park, and the Sayville Village Improvement Society. Through her involvement with the Common Ground, she assists in the annual 9/11 ceremony, leads guided tours of the labyrinth at Rotary Park, and creates the monthly newsletter for the organization. And I'm sure that month rolls around mighty quick. Barbara also serves as the president of the Sayville Village Improvement Society, and in her role as president, she has secured 2 new signs listing the volunteer organizations within Sayville and is working with the Sayville Library to secure the names of the founding presidents of the Sayville Village Improvement Society, who are currently only listed by their husbands' names. How fitting that this should be happening in Women's History Month. In all of her many, many roles, Barbara has been extremely influential in maintaining and forwarding progress in our community. Please join us in recognizing Barbara Fitzpatrick. Thank you, Barbara. Now I'd like to invite Councilman O'Connor to the podium to introduce our next honoree, the Honorable A. Gail Prudenti. Jim?
Thank you, Supervisor. It's my pleasure and privilege to nominate and recognize my neighbor from Great River, the Honorable A. Gail Prudenti. He currently serves in our community as the Dean of the Maurice A. Dean School of Law at Hofstra University, where I'm a proud graduate, as is my brother Gerard. Prior to her tenure as the Dean of Hofstra Law, Gail served in many high-profile juris positions, including as the Chief Administrative Judge of the Courts of New York State, presiding judge of the Appellate Division of the Second Judicial Department in New York State, and associate judge of the Appellate Division of the Second Judicial Department in New York State. In April of 2020, Judge Prudenti was appointed to serve on the COVID-19 Recovery Task Force, where she oversaw the pro bono network of lawyers who aided New Yorkers impacted by the pandemic. The task force was established in joint efforts by the New York State Bar Association and the New York State court system. Judge Prudenti has made it her mission to assure the public trust in the New York State court system, and through her career has established many initiatives to enhance the administration of justice in our community. Please join me in recognizing the Honorable A. Gail Prudenti.
Thank you, Judge Prudenti. Her accomplishments on the bench are really legendary. She has served with honor and distinction, and how proud we are that she's a resident of our great town. Yes. And our next honoree is Nitza Franco, who was nominated by Councilman Guardone. If you would please come forward.
Thank you very much again. I didn't know it was this popular now. Well,
Don't
Nitsa,
let it go to your head.
yes, you got it. Nitsa J. Franco serves our community as the treasurer of the Salvadoran American Chamber of Commerce and the Comité de Damas Latinoamericanas, CODALA, in English, Latin American Ladies Committee, where she utilizes her career in finance to positively impact the community. As a treasurer and a founding member of the Salvadoran American Chamber of Commerce, she designs, coordinates, and manages all of the Chamber's events, which include the annual Pupusa Festival, Salvadoran Day, and the Central American Independence Day Parade and Festival. Through her involvement of Comité de Damas Latinoamericanas, she coordinates the annual Kodala Barbecue, which raises funds to assist women-led businesses, cancer survivors, and families in the community facing housing insecurity. Please join us in recognizing Ms. Nitsa J. Franco.
Congratulations, and thank you, Councilman. So for our final honoree this afternoon, we are so delighted to be able to recognize WOWI, which stands for the Women of West Islip, an organization here in the town of Islip. The Women of West Islip, WOWI, was founded in 2010 by Regina Jacobi and Patty Bori, Borilas. Is that? Okay, I practiced earlier. With the mission to improve our community through volunteerism, philanthropy, and charity. WOWI has established a senior scholarship program for the West Islip High School girls who make an impact in the community through community service and support the West Islip School District's essential pantry, providing necessary items to families in need. In addition, WOWI organizes the annual family night at the West Islip Beach, paying tribute to Sandy Hook victim Madeline Sue, whose memory we honor at Madeline's Playground. The women of West Islip additionally support such community organization and events as the West Islip Beautification Society, West Islip Historical Society, the West Islip Association, Legion Post 1738, West Islip Breast Cancer Coalition, and the West Islip Chamber of Commerce. Through all of their dedicated support, WOWI aims to make sure West Islip remains a great place to live and raise families. And they do everything they do with such heart. And, organizations will reach out to them and they're there in a minute. In such a short time, they've really accomplished a lot in the community. So with that, we're very pleased to honor and recognize the women of West Islip. Please come forward. So congratulations again to all these extraordinary women, and thank you for your hard work that each of you do to enrich our community every single day. We're proud to live alongside such devoted and hardworking neighbors, and proud to recognize women this month and throughout the year. Congratulations to all of you. And with that, I will wish everyone a happy St. Patty's Day. We're lighting the cupola green later this week, so hopefully we'll see you there. But everyone have a safe trip home. It is snowing out there, and as I'm looking out this window, it's exactly 8 years ago that I stood here, looked out the window as I was being sworn in as the supervisor, and it was snowing like that. So hopefully this one will end better than the other one did. Thank you. Oh, sure. Yes. Before you run out, if all the honorees would come forward, if all the honorees would come forward so we can get a group photo. Thank you so much.
Thank
That's
you.
a big help. Appreciate it. It's all right. Good afternoon. We will begin our town board meeting, our March town board meeting with our public hearings. We have 3 scheduled public hearings this afternoon for the board's consideration. I'd ask the town clerk to please read the first hearing notice.
Certainly, today's first hearing is to consider amending the Islip Uniform Traffic Code.
No one has signed up to speak on this hearing. Are there any questions, comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to close the public hearing, offer the resolution.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Gardron. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Madam Clerk, if you would please read the next hearing notice.
Hearing number 2 is to consider amending Chapter 68 of the Islip Town Code, also known as zoning.
Any questions or comments on this particular resolution? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. Motion to close the public hearing. And, okay. We have a motion. We have a second. Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman Gardron. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. That takes us to our third and final public hearing for this afternoon. Madam Clerk?
Yes, hearing number 3 is to consider enacting Local Law 2 of 2023, which would amend local law 3 of 1989 of the Islip Town Code, chapter 68-324.
Thank you, Olga. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, a motion?
Make a motion to close the public hearing off the resolution for its adoption.
We have a motion. Do I have a second? We have a motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Gardone. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing is closed. Resolution is adopted. That takes us now to the public portion. We have a number of cards that have been filled out. Those wishing to speak, as we all know, public portion is your opportunity to offer your questions, comments, concerns, compliments in a respectful manner, 3 minutes. We're here to listen to you. It's not a question and answer. So if the first speaker would come forward, Andy Cross.
Good afternoon. Once again, I'm here about the rise in taxes on my tax bill. The combined highway tax went up 6.1%. And how can that be? With the surplus due to the fact that there was no snow plowing last year, where did all that extra money go and why was it not used to lower the highway tax? This year I was told my whole neighborhood was going to be repaved due to the fact it hadn't been repaved in like 30 years. So they did like 6 blocks and left the other ones not done. What happened? I was told the whole neighborhood was going to be done. So are they doing it this year or was it just a lie just to keep me quiet? And we have seen what lies got George Santos. Was the highway commissioner one of the ones who got the $30,000 or $40,000 raise per year a couple of years ago? And is this what we get for our raise? For his raise? The highway tax went up 51% a couple of years ago, and now they need more. There isn't even enough workers in the highway department. Now I see signs looking for people with snow plows on the side of the road to sign on with the town to plow snow. And in your state of the town address, you said you added 9,000 jobs. One look at the highway department will show you that they're wholly unmanned. You touted 2,000 residential units being developed, but said nothing about giving tax breaks to the developers, that the taxpayers of Islip Town have to basically subsidize their rent through tax breaks. When are you going to represent the taxpayers instead of giving tax breaks to developers for apartments? And what happens when the school district has to raise their taxes for all the new students coming in, and the homeowners of the infected districts have to raise their taxes to pay due to the rebates? Anything? Anybody? You got 25 seconds. Can you say anything about this? Nothing? You're going to wait till I sit down like you did nothing? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Next speaker, Madeline Sharrock.
Good afternoon. I am the executive director of Keep Islip Clean, and I just wanted to say thank you for all of your support of our organization. And I just come to update you on a few of the things that are coming up rather quickly as we enter the spring. We're about to embark on the Great American Cleanup, sponsored by Keep America Beautiful. It begins on Monday and runs through the entire spring. So if any of you have any community organizations or groups that would like to clean up an area of Islip, we would be happy to support your efforts. Our general meeting is coming up on Thursday. We'll be doing a presentation on spring seed starts. And then I have some cleanups that my junior commissioners are doing, and some of our volunteers, our commissioners, are also doing in the next couple of weeks. My junior commissioners are a lively bunch this year. I have about 35 very active, very vocal students from across the town of Islip. And they are doing two big projects. I challenged them last week. We're going to have a high school trash bash. I want to see which school district can collect the most trash. They're going to weigh their trash over the next 2 months, and we'll do a presentation at their induction ceremony in June to the one who collects the most. They also are doing a Got Sneakers recycling drive, and I will send some information over to the media office because it can involve the entire town. There's an organization, it's called Got Sneakers, that I can send sneakers in, 10 to 12 pairs at a time, free shipping, and then they will make donations to Keep Islip Clean, and it will help fund the shipping of various other recycled products like the card project, which costs a couple $100s to send off all the cards that we collected throughout the town of Islip during the holidays. So I wanted to thank you. And then I have some cleanups coming up on April 1st. I have a group coming from Long Island Lutheran High School to clean up the East Islip Marina on April 1st. My junior commissioners are going to act as ambassadors and welcome them and help them in those efforts. April 16th, we're going to be cleaning up Main Street of Islip. And then on April 22nd, if it's approved today, we'll be doing our 34th annual Brook Street Annual Wetlands Community Service Project. So I just wanted to thank you, and I continue to welcome your support. Thanks.
Thank you, Madeline. Thank you for all your efforts, and it really is exciting to see how many junior commissioners are involved, because we know they are our future for sure. Thank you. Next speaker, Pat.
Hi, Pat. I'm from the Islip area. I just want to hand in a few things here just to be put on the record. I just have the KIT grant offering. This was given to the ambulance exchange, but one of the things you had to have was your business must be in good standing with the town and no town code violations. Well, just so you can see, there was no repair ever done to the building. Then this here are all foils, anything to do with financial information for the town was refused to be answered and could not be accounted for. This one here is the alert for the corner that you were asked by several town residents, and it was refused to be attended to for young children to be protected and adults walking their children. And this one here, to be put on the record, was just to show Mr. Cochran is got many conflicts of interest and was defended by this town board. I don't know where your fact checking came from, but it's all here too to be put on the record. And my last is to be put on the record for the depositories for the town of Islip. As people will see, Signature Bank was one of them. They have now been taken over by the federal financial institutions. And if we go back, way back, that was one of your major, as a treasurer for Suffolk County Bank. Just don't want to know how's that working out for you, Signature? Because the county took all their money out Monday. And I am going to go downstairs and I am going to put in a foil for the list of depositories for the town. And this way it's on record. I'm doing it because anything financial is not being answered. It's all being denied and just not answered, period. For the residents, their taxpayer money will not be accounted for. Thank you.
And thank you. Next speaker, Greg.
Greg Islip, President. Well, we're on the topic of monies. I filed for the monies that were refunded to the residents that are in the exchange ambulance of the Islip district. And they were supposed to refund this money within 30 days after the December meeting, for just the one fiscal year, 2022. Now, prior to that, they were billing since April of 2020. Okay, but they're refusing to refund these people from 2020 to 2021 years. Okay, they're waiting for you, Angie, to tell them or give them the go-ahead to give them back their money. In other words, the residents to be refunded for those 2 years. So I foiled, there's no monies available. I called the Central Islip Hauppauge Ambulance District, and they explained that the money that's supposed to be the co-payments, co-insurance, that money is given from the taxable revenue, is what I was told, from their billing department. So in other words, under their contract, they paid, 4 payments are made, okay? So say if it's $4 million that's raised in taxes, out of that 4 million, they're deducting the co-payments and co-insurance payments for the residents because you signed off on that provision within their contract. Okay, now, you along with Mr. Ludwig back in December said that by charging residents the billing, the insurance is going to bring down that tax line. Matter of fact, he said it might even eliminate it from my tax bill. Well, just in this one year, the 2022-2023 year, it went up 3.5% compared to last year when it went up 1.6. So instead of going down or kind of stabilizing, it's actually driving that tax line even higher. Okay, so maybe they are telling me the truth up in Hauppauge, that the tax revenue now is being diverted to cover the co-insurance and co-payments. Okay, because why would the tax line double? It would, if it was 1.6 in 21-22 calendar year, now it's 3.5, it more than doubled, right? It would have been 3.2. Simple math. Numbers don't lie, but politicians do. Okay, so now I don't know what you're going to do about this. People need to be refunded. You should be looking into this because it's not only the exchange ambulance that are being thrown under the bus. It's Hauppauge, centralized Hauppauge, Brentwood Legion, Mr. Guadron. You should be looking into this because they are still billing. I spoke with their billing company up there. I can give you their number. It's toll free. Yeah.
Thank you, Greg.
I'll send it to your office.
Thank you. Next speaker, Kenneth Cox.
Hi, good afternoon. Ken Cox, Central Islip resident. Two subjects. First, I'd like to just ask about the soccer complex that's on Spur Drive North and Carlton Avenue. A few years ago, before COVID, I was at a meeting where I believe it was proposed that Central Islip residents receive a discount. I don't know if that had gone through. But recently, a friend of mine who lives in Long Beach, his daughter to soccer. I know that the fee is somewhere between $3,000 and $3,500 a year per uh, per athlete that goes to it. So even if Central Islip residents receive the discount, it's probably between 1,500 something or more than that, which I think will be difficult for people here to afford. Second, someone I work with now, he has a soccer club, and he is forced to go to Huntington twice a week because he doesn't have a facility in CI that his club can practice at. He and his brother run it, and they're forced to go to Huntington. I know there's a field in Central Islip, and from what he's telling me, he cannot use that. And I know that Sousa rents field owns the field that that is used. Um, and they were given a 40-year tax abatement. So all these things are done, and in my opinion, Central Islip residents are kind of left not being able to take advantage of some things. Um, Last thing I want to ask about is just the revitalization program. If I'd like to know if there's some type of program possible, something could be proposed or worked out where there would be a program at that field that would include different age groups, and just so that they could be introduced to soccer, and if they're good, they continue. If not, it's not for them. Then that's it. But I think there should be something that possibly free for Central Islip residents. It's right here. Lastly, the revitalization program. I know I saw you at a meeting and we talked about the sewer project that had been done. Just want to know what's happening with the revitalization program. I see building going on all over, and again, like to know what's in it for CI residents. And there is a contact person in that program. I'd uh, like to be included in it.
Okay. Thank you for coming down. You did put your phone number. I'm presuming that this is a number you can be reached at. I'm going to have someone from Parks reach out to you about the soccer programs because we do have quite a few programs going. And they'll be able to answer any specific questions about Sousa, but do understand that Sousa is a private operation. But thanks for coming down. And that's it as far as the cards. I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion. Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman Gordon. All those in favor? Opposed? Public portion is closed. We will now move to the agenda. Thank you. We will convene the Islip motion to convene the Town of Islip Industrial Development Agency with motion and a second, quorum being present. You may begin.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the agency board. John Walzer, Executive Director, 40 Nassau Avenue, Islip. I have two items for your consideration today. The first item is to approve the minutes from the February 7th agency board meeting.
Any questions on the minutes? Motion by Councilman Guardron. Second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved.
Thank you. And the second item I have for your consideration is a resolution authorizing the agency to extend the memorandum of agreement between the agency and Suffolk County as it relates to financial assistance for sewer main extension along the commercial corridor on Carlton Avenue in Central Islip.
Any questions? Hearing on motion? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. And I believe that is it for the business to come before us
No other
today?
business.
Thank you so much. We have a motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo to adjourn the Industrial Development Agency meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you very much. That very short agenda really throws you. We will now move to the meeting of the Town of Islip Resource Recovery Agency. Happy St. Patty's Day. I see you have your green tie on, Martin.
Motion to convene.
We have a motion to convene the Islip Resource Recovery Agency. Second by Councilman Gordon. All those in favor? Opposed? We stand convened, a quorum being present. And Marty, you may begin.
Madam Chair, members of the agency board, Martin Bellew, the president of the Islip Resource Recovery Agency, 401 Main Street, Islip. I have two items for consideration. It's first being the approval of the minutes from the January 24th, 2023 agency.
Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Gardron. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved.
Next item is a resolution authorizing the president to execute extension year one of an existing contract with Clearflow Technologies, Inc. for disposal of leachate generated at agency landfills as an alternate disposal facility to those provided by the counties.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Motion by Councilman Gardron, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Any other business to come before us?
Who's the-
Having none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Gardron. All those in favor? Opposed? The Resource Recovery Agency is adjourned. We now go to resolution number 3, authorization of supervisor to execute a license agreement for one parcel of town-owned Bay Bottom land. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Gardron, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 4 are the board up cleanup resolutions. Good afternoon, Jeff.
Good afternoon, Madam Supervisor, members of the town board and the town clerk. It's Jeffrey Panache, Assistant Town Attorney, 655 Main Street, Islip, New York. The only matter I had on consideration here today will officially be withdrawn because it's fully in compliance.
Well, that's good news. Thank you very much. Okay, we will move then to resolution number 5, the appropriation transfers. Any questions? Hearing none, motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 6, authorization of supervisor to enter into an agreement with Garda Courier Service. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 7, authorization for the supervisor to enter an agreement with J.P. Morgan Chase. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Town board approval to amend the approved ARPA project to be funded by a portion of the SLR-FF funds. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 9, authorization of supervisor to enter into agreement with Suffolk County Department of Public Works for the installation of a traffic signal in Brentwood. I'll make that motion. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Authorization, item 10, authorization of supervisor to enter into agreement with Suffolk County Department of Public Works for the installation of a traffic signal on Crooked Hill Road in Brentwood. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Gardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 11, authorization for the supervisor to enter into agreement with Suffolk County Department of Public Works for installation of signals in Sayville. Any questions? Motion by
Second.
Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 12, town board approval to renew the contract with Suffolk Paving Corp. for contract DPW 2-2020 for the first 1 year in extension. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 13, town board approval to renew the contract DPW 3-2020 with Rosemont Contracting for the first 1 year extension. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 14, authorization for the supervisor to enter into a contract with Laser Industries, Inc. for DPW 1-2023 for drainage construction. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. 15, authorization of supervisor to enter into a contract with Best Climate Control Corp. for DPW 5-2023 for air conditioning preventative maintenance service contract. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadron, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Authorization for the supervisor to enter into various agreements for programs or events to be held throughout the town. Any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor, opposed, approved. Item 17, authorization for supervisor to enter into a lease agreement with the Suffolk County Office for the Aging. Any questions? Motion? By Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor, opposed, approved. Item 18, Town Board acceptance of a donation of approximately 1,125 individual lunch servings from Catholic Health with Samaritan University Hospital to be offered to various town senior centers. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 19, acceptance of grant funding from Suffolk County in connection with the Building Floodplain Management and Disaster Recovery Capabilities Grant Program. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 20 are the special events. Lots of good things happening around town, lots of walks, parades. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 21 are the bid awards. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 22, the option year resolutions. Are there any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 23, the Town Board approval to symbolically rename the intersection of Fulton Street and 13th Street in Bohemia to Detective Harry O. D'Onofrio Way. Any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. 24, appointment of Taylor Lawson as a member of the ITech Board. Any questions? Motion? I'll make that motion. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Authorization for the supervisor to sign the contract of sale for the property at Denver Avenue in Bay Shore. Any questions? Motion?
I just had one quick question.
Sure.
And I'm sorry I didn't get to my email. I asked Amy by email. Does it include the old animal shelter lot? It does. Thank you.
Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 26, Town Board approval to submit a home rule request to the New York State Legislature supporting bills Senate 1714 and Assembly 2818 authorizing the alienation of certain real property in Hopog. Are there any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 27, authorization for the supervisor to execute an estoppel certificate of the town-owned facility known as Hidden Pond Park in Hopog. Are there any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 28, Town Board approval of the revised listing of individuals submitted by the 5 ambulance corps for participation in 2022 Service Awards Program that are known as LoSAP. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 29, authorization for supervisor to consent to the assignment of the license agreement with Sea Toys Limited to Sally's Seashore Shack, say that quick, Incorporated. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman Lorenzo, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 30, authorization for supervisor to sign any and all documentation for extension of contract DPW 3-2018 with Quintal Contracting Corporation. Any questions? Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 31, authorization for supervisor to sign any and all documentation for the extension of contract DPW 6-2023 with Laser Industries. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 32, acceptance of grant offer for work for the New York State Department of Transportation in connection with multiple projects to be completed at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. I don't know if anybody had an opportunity to see the travel section of Newsday on Sunday, but I really want to publicly thank that reporter and Newsday for being so supportive of our airport, because they reported on something we know, but sometimes people forget, and seeing it handled in that way. And it talked about if you want to go south for a few days, perfect way to do it, to go down to get to the beaches or golf, or down to Disney, is to go to Islip MacArthur Airport. 2 hours, you're down in Florida. So it was, and they talked about the wonderful experience at our airport. So it was kind of nice to see something so positive being handled by the media. So we thank them for that. Next item, 33, authorization for supervisor to execute any and all documents in the application and acceptance of grant funding from the New York State Archives and Local Government Records Management Improvement Fund. Any question? Motion by Councilman Guardrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 34, authorization for supervisor to sign any and all documentation in connection with OGS contract number PS 68691 with Cablevision Lightpath Inc. and affiliates, aka Altice Business. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 35, Town Board with acceptance of a deed from RG 158 Candlewood LLC for a road widening dedication in Bay Shore for highway purposes. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardrone. No, it's okay. So you're going to second that then? Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Guardrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo on item 35. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 36, Town Board acceptance of a deed from RG 55 Paradise LLC for a road widening dedication in Bay Shore for highway purposes. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Takes us to 37, authorization for the supervisor to enter into a one-year contract extension with D. Giovanna Brothers Landscaping for 2020 to 2022 Baytown Village landscape maintenance. Any questions? Motion? By Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guardrone. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 38. Town Board approval to ratify the base proportion ratios for homestead and non-homestead for the 2022-2023 assessment year. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman Guardrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved. Item 39, authorization for the supervisor to execute any and all documentation for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to utilize town-owned property in connection with the maintenance dredging project on Browns River Road. Hallelujah. Amen. Do I have a motion? A motion by Councilman Guardrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 40, authorization for supervisor to execute an amendment to the professional services agreement with Nelson and Pope for additional services through the completion of the skate park. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardrone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 41, authorization for supervisor to extend contract DAT 2017-4 with Oxford Airport Technical Services for an additional 60 days. Do we have any questions? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 42, authorization for supervisor to execute the second option, extending contract DAT 2020-3 through January 20th, 2024. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guardrone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 43, authorization for supervisor to execute an amendment to the agreement for the on-call engineering services agreement with JKL Engineers PC. Any questions? Hearing none. Motion by Councilman Guardrone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 44, authorization supervisor to execute all documents necessary for the awarding of the contract with runway rubber and paint removal and restriping at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. 45, acceptance of a grant offer from the New York State Department of Transportation for work in connection with reconstruction of taxiways to be completed at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. And we are at 46, authorization for the supervisor to exercise the second option year to the agreement with JVC Media LLC at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman O'Connor. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Item 47, authorization for supervisor to exercise the first option year, extending the agreement with Simbrand Aviation Services for contract DAT 2021-006. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guadrone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. 48, authorization for the supervisor to effectuate a second change order to the contract with WHM Plumbing and Heating Contractors, Inc. Any questions? Motion? A motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. 49, acceptance of a grant offer from the New York State Department of Transportation for work at the main terminal building at Long Island MacArthur Airport. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Motion? Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Guadrone. All those in favor? Opposed? Approved. Next, we move to item 50, which are the bond resolutions. I would ask the Controller, Joe Ludwig, to please come forward.
Mike. Oh, it's not in front of you. You hand it up. Yeah. Thanks.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I'm lovely. How are you?
Oh, marvelous, marvelous.
Get the official stuff done out of the way. Joseph Ludwig, Controller, 401 Main Street, Islip, New York.
Thank you. And we have a number of bond resolutions before us. And on the bond resolutions, we require a roll call vote, just to remind everybody. And we have 10. These are for capital projects that
Should be 11.
have,
Madam Supervisor, should be 11.
should be 11. Well, my notes say 10, so I'm going to go with you. All right, so we will move to the first, which is authorizes various improvements across the town, security cameras, improvements to
I
buildings,
just had a
like
couple of
vehicles.
preliminary
Sure,
questions with Joe, if I could.
you certainly may.
So, Joe, we met a little bit before the meeting, and a couple of my questions you answered. So a lot less than last.
Correct.
And the reasons why?
So there's always a variety of reasons as to why our borrowing will change from one year to the next. Sometimes it's a project that we may have wanted to do when we come up with this plan in August of the year prior. A wonderful idea. We're going to put in an XYZ somewhere. And then as we start to look at it, we realize, oh, XYZ somewhere doesn't really make sense this year. Let's hold off on that project. So there'll be certain projects that may have been in the capital plan, but we're not going to act on. And the perfect example is the upgrading of the phone system. The outgoing or the previous IT director it's something that had to be on our radar, so we had included it. In talking to the new IT director, he said we can probably still hold off one more year. But it's a lot of bantering back and forth because the one thing we don't want to do is borrow money for projects we're not ready to do, we're not willing to do, or we just can't do. And Councilman, as we spoke earlier, there's a potential project at Casamento Park, but we need state DOT approval for us to do that work. We cannot even legally issue that bond resolution without having those pieces in place. So a lot of times the plan doesn't come out to be the actual reality.
I think your answer almost answers my second question. The first question was, comparing it to March 2022 bonding, how this is dramatically less than what we borrowed in March 2022. But additionally, it's significantly less than the capital plan that we approved in November. The capital plan we approved was 44.2 million. We're only borrowing 28.9. And I think you explained it to me very similarly in your answer, in that when we borrow, when we anticipate for the capital plan, that is kind of a wish list of what we'd like to do, but we only borrow for what we actually intend and can do.
Perfectly stated. Because like I said, the one thing we don't want to do is right, when we borrow money, it's the same as taking out a mortgage on your home. You want to take out a mortgage on a home, you have no intentions of buying anytime soon. Why would you want to pay that principal and interest? It's the same philosophical viewpoint here. If we're not ready to do the project in a reasonable amount of time, it gets pushed off to a next year, and then we revisit it.
Thanks. That's all.
Thank you.
On number 5,
On bond resolution 5?
correct, yes.
All right, why don't we wait till we're taking them one by one, okay? That might be a little easier. I like the example of, that you mentioned about the project at Casamento, that soccer field, because that's a project that has been 20-plus years in the making. So if when it was first proposed and we had authorized the borrowing for it, here we would be. But that particular project, and I just want to state it on the record, they have been extraordinarily patient, that group of parents and coaches and that soccer club, in wanting that to be done. But until we get that authorization from the state, it can't happen. So we're on it. We're trying to do our best. And I thank the department, both commissioner and deputy, who have worked real hard on that. Okay, so on this first bond resolution, it was a variety of projects, capital projects, including security, equipment, light vehicles, et cetera. Is there a motion? Do I have a motion on this? Yes. The amount is 3,861,000. Are there any questions? Okay, we have a motion by Councilman O'Connor. I'll second that motion. Roll call on the vote. Actually, it was Councilman O'Connor that made the motion. It's okay.
Councilman O'Connor.
Aye.
Madam Supervisor.
Yes.
Councilman Lorenzo. Carries 4-0.
Okay, the second bond resolution is for improvements to town facilities. Lord knows we need some. And that is 1,025,000. Any questions on this bond resolution? Hearing none, motion? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. Roll call on the bond.
Councilman Guadrone. Aye. Councilman Lorenzo. Councilman O'Connor.
Aye.
Madam Supervisor.
Aye.
Madam passes 4-0.
Thank you. The third bond resolution authorizes bonding for gas system upgrades, and that's 300,000. Are there any questions? Hearing none, motion on the bond.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. Roll call.
Councilman O'Connor.
Aye.
Councilman Lorenzo.
Aye.
Matter passes 4-0.
The next bond resolution authorizes road improvements, and this is a fraction of what we really could do, but being practical and good financial stewards, we're coming forward with this amount, and that's 8.3 million. 8.3 million. Any questions on this? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. Roll call on the bond.
Councilman Guadrone. Aye.
Aye.
Madam Supervisor.
Yes,
Matter passes 4-0 for an absent.
thank you. The next bond resolution authorizes the construction of sidewalk improvements in the amount of 400,000.
Is,
Certainly,
the original
Councilman.
amount was quoted at 600,000. Is it the same reason as before, that why are we doing less, or?
So the amount should be 600,000. The 600,000, to answer your question, Councilman, is the number that we had last year. That was a late change, but I believe that it was made. I now have to find it.
Okay, I'll find that resolution. The letter from bond council says 400,000 bonds for sidewalk improvements.
Yep, so that was an update that was supposed to change. So Councilman, that was supposed to have been 600,000. Apparently there was something bond council missed, even though we had asked them to increase that. What I can suggest that we do now, if you're okay with it, we can adopt the $400,000 now. I will have bond council send out an amending bond resolution for the next town board meeting. Will not hold anything up, appreciably, if that's okay with you. It should have been 600,000 to answer your ultimate question. That drop down was, again, as we were trying to look at stuff and monies we thought we had on hand. As it turned out, those monies had already been allocated and earmarked for something. And that's why we brought the number back up to 600,000. It is an omission, though. We will get that corrected by the next meeting.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, I'll make that motion. I have a motion and second by Councilman Gardone. Roll call. Yes.
Aye.
Okay, that takes us to bond number 6, acquisition of heavy vehicles and equipment, and that amount is 1.8 million. Any questions? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Gardone. Roll call on the vote.
Aye.
Yes. Next, bond resolution authorizes the replacement of traffic signals in the amount of 400,000. Any questions? I'll make that motion. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Lorenzo. Roll call on the vote. Yes.
Aye.
Thank you. Next, bond resolution is for drainage improvements. And that is in the amount of 250,000. Are there any questions? Hearing none, motion? Motion by
I'm
Council.
sorry, can I just interject real quick?
Sure.
As a general rule, the town usually issues somewhere in the $2 million range for drainage, and this is a conversation I had with Councilman O'Connor earlier. This number is $250,000 because this is specific to 2 different sites.
Mhm.
This is not the normal drainage we do amongst all the roads and streets throughout the town. Those monies will be coming out of the ARPA funds, which we're allowed to use. Again, will be done at the next meeting. I don't want anybody thinking that this is all the drainage we're going to be doing for the town, where normally we're in a $2 million range.
Exactly.
So I just said that earlier. I apologize.
And that's, quite frankly, is something that really is in recent history, because in the past, we did not specifically address drainage in that
The
manner.
number was significantly.
Yes.
And some of our communities that have significant drainage problems are appreciative, I'm sure.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second by Councilman O'Connor. Roll call on the vote. Yes.
Aye.
Thank you. The next bond resolution is for recreation improvements, and that is 950,000. Are there any questions?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman O'Connor, second by Councilman Lorenzo. Roll call on the vote.
Aye.
Yes. Thank you. The next bond resolution is for marina and bulkheading improvements. And this is something that this can has been kicked down the road for many years. One reason, not a willingness to do it, and secondly, getting the necessary permits and permissions in place. We finally got everything aligned, and we're able to finally move forward on this. So this is in the amount of $11,200,000. And a lot of these marina improvements will allow us to rent a lot of slips that have gone unrentable because of the fact that these improvements had to be made. Any questions? Motion by Councilman Guadrone, second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor? Opposed? I'm so sorry. Roll call.
Aye.
Yes. And our final bond resolution is for park improvements, which is something that everybody wants to see. And really, the town board has been so supportive of everything that we have been doing at the parks. And want to thank all of the staff in parks and everybody involved, engineering and planning, and everybody working together to see that we're getting our parks to where they should be. So this resolution is for $500,000. I'll make that motion. Second by Councilman Lorenzo. Roll call on the bond. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. There does not appear to be any other business to come before us this afternoon, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Councilman Guardone, thank you, and second by Councilman Lorenzo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned. Everybody have a wonderful St. Patty's Day.